So, in what has been an insanely crazy release cycle here for Apple with their betas for iOS 18.3, on a random Thursday at a traditional release time, we just got iOS 18.3 Beta 3 ready to download on our 16 Pro Max. It is preparing the update as we speak. Now, before we jump into it, being a third beta, we are not anticipating seeing any new features, and 18.3 as a whole has been somewhat of a letdown as far as new features go. As a big point release or a dot release, usually you would expect to see some new features added, but this one seems to be more of performance improvements and stability on the back end. There's been some icon tweaks, there's been an update to the calendar app finally, so you can actually click on the equals button and continue to get feedback. But aside from that, there's no new Apple Intelligence features or anything like that. We're going to make this video very short and sweet for you guys today. We'll talk about the actual release date and what this means for the public and when to expect it. Let's go. Okay, so iOS 18.3 Beta 3 just finished installing on our 16 Pro Max. And jumping right into it, the install did take a little longer than expected for a build that came in at only 755 megabytes. Having said all that, let's jump into settings, general, about, and see what version this is. Okay, so we have a B build here. As you can see, the full build number is 22D5055B. We are getting closer to the beginning of the alphabet. This is still not an A build like what we had in watchOS that released a couple of days ago. So still a little weird, they're not aligning, but it can easily still go from a B build to an RC candidate in the next cycle. So having said that, I was anticipating seeing an A build today. Since we don't, and we have that weird release now coming on a Thursday here, we could still get another beta on the 20th or 21st, and then actually receive the RC on the 27th. The whole time that iOS 18.3 beta cycle has been going on, it has been really just inconsistent at best. As you can tell here, coming from a Thursday release, it's just not its typical cycle, and things seem to be a little out of whack on Apple's end. But again, nobody knows. There's no consistency from what they've done in the past. We just are kind of riding with what we can make heads and tails out of. So technically next week we could receive an RC straight from this B build, but I'm willing to bet we will probably get at least one more beta. Having said that, with 18.3, as you all are well aware at this point, there are not a lot of new features here, unfortunately. The main one is that vacuum support has now been added to HomeKit. The calculator has now an improvement where you can keep clicking on equals and it's back to how it used to operate in the past. It's just kind of weird. There's no new Apple Intelligence features here. Even if you actually jump into the setting, there is still no new extension, nothing for Gemini or anything of that nature. There is just nothing else new. This is purely performance and bug fixes on the back end here. One big thing missing that we are excited for is that battery intelligence to see time to full. That should be coming here hopefully in 18.4. But then also, so you are aware, using now iOS 18 beta cycles as a placeholder, 125 cycle counts here. We still are running at max capacity for our battery at least. That is always good to see. There were some other small UI tweaks for like image playground and things like that. But as far as operationals go, anytime you're using Apple Intelligence to create something here, the devices have been getting hot throughout the betas. I'm very curious to see if that's going to remain here since everything is done on device, or what really is going to happen with this. Aside from that, we will be following up with battery life as well as performance as we truly keep jumping around and doing everything day to day. But as you can see, running through everything like we traditionally do, it's pretty quick and seamless. So performance wasn't really an issue in beta 2, battery life was. Let's see what happens in the coming few days into next week for a full release date. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.